We're back, baby. Another mock draft Monday. After a wave of free agency, a lot has changed in New York Jets land. How the heck does that affect their draft? Well, we're going to make our draft analysts figure it all out. Boy Green Daily starts now.
I'm going to lose my gosh darn bananas. Boy Green Daily starts now. Zoinks!
Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. Let's go!
Put your seatbelts on. Get ready for the ride. We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
I'm Paul Leston Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Welcome to Boy Green Daily, a daily New York Jets video show, also available wherever you find your podcast. And every Monday, don't adjust your clocks. Yes, mostly every Monday. Last week, we took a bit of a hiatus. Thought it made sense with free agency and all that jazz. Give Drew Beatty a little bit of a break. He's our NFL draft analyst of choice. He's joined us for several weeks, and he'll join us for several weeks more, all the way through the draft and his final draft grades that he gives us following the 2026 NFL draft. It should be spectacular. We'll be there in person, baby, so we'll catch up with Drew after all that activity in Pittsburgh. It should be a lot of fun. Let's bring him in. His handle is at Iron City Film, and he brings that ironclad draft analysis to this program. There's no doubt about it. Let's bring him in. It's Drew Beatty, baby.
Morning, Paul. How you doing?
I'm not doing too bad, Drew. Free agency was nice. I'm curious how that's going to overall impact things, both for your Tennessee Titans, our New York Jets. So it should be fascinating, Drew Beatty.
Yeah, that's always, I know I talked about last time I was on here about how you can really start doing predictive mocks post-combine, because that's when things start to really kind of gel and come together on what the picture might look like in April. But post-free agency is really where you can start doing that, because teams now, their plans are very clearly laid out. Now you hear the whole like plug the holes in free agency, right? To draft actually BPA, which I'm not totally convinced is a fully real thing, but you can at least go more BPA once you kind of plug the holes in free agency. And I think the Jets did a great job of that. I'll get into that a little bit later, but really fun to see how the draft falls post free agency.
Well, I'll tell you one thing that's fun is seeing Boy Green Coffee Club memberships being gifted at the beginning of this program. T-Town Jet. Yes, those won't be the only draft chimes on this show, buddy. But for now, that'll work out, because that is a Boy Green Coffee Club membership being gifted to Lauren, 6496 out there in the audience. There you go, the female demographic on our program. Or could be a male named Lauren, I suppose. So let me not judge. But nonetheless, T-Town Jet, thank you for gifting that Boy Green Coffee Club membership out to the audience. We'll add that to your raffle ticket total, my friend, here on the program. All right, Drew. Is your engine revved? Are you ready for some mock draft action?
Always ready.
That's it. That's the right answer, Drew. That's the right answer. So, folks, if you're just joining us for the first time when we do these mock drafts, again, we'll be doing a few more positional breakdowns as we get closer to the draft, but we'll sprinkle in a bunch of mock drafts and eventually do some trade mock drafts, 7-round mock drafts. We'll really test Drew Beatty's abilities here. But this is a 2-round mock draft post-free agency. That first wave, the Jets filled a lot of holes. So what we're going to use is the PFF mock draft machine. That will be our machine of choice as we're going through this mock draft process here. Drew Beatty gets to make all the decisions, but I will poke and prod him and try to, ask him questions about his process. So we'll be doing that throughout the show. And Drew, are you allowed to be bribed?
I guess it's really case dependent, if the price is right, anybody.
All right, here we go. 2 things here. First off, Tank for Ty has just gifted a membership. Tank for Ty Simpson. Hey now. Wow, Tank for Ty has dipped his toes in the gifting waters for the first time ever. Tank for Ty has been a big voice in the audience for Ty Simpson. He gifted that membership to Barry Beck 9060. So again, I don't know if you could be bribed, Drew Beatty, but I think Tank for Ty just attempted to do so. I don't think we've seen any Ty Simpson, Drew Beatty mock drafts yet.
I haven't done it yet, but you know what? I'm definitely going to keep it more in mind from that. So
okay,
it's at the front of my mind now.
Okay, there you go. Tank for Ty. Great work, brother. Great work, brother. If you guys have other super chat questions and things, feel free to throw them in there, and we'll work this one in real quick before we start the mock draft. Johnny Boy with the $2 super chat. Every time I get a super chat, we hear from my daughter, Zariah Luna.
Wow.
The Stone Cold reference. Happy 316. Drew Beatty. What? BG. What? Coffee Club. What? That's what I'm talking about, Johnny Boy. The creativity knows no bounds. So great work, Johnny Boy. And by the way, congratulations to the folks over at Jets Worldwide. They surpassed over 500 subscribers yesterday live on the show. So appreciate that. Thank you guys for all the love, and thank you for supporting fellow Jets content creators out in our audience. So Johnny Boy, thank you very much for that. And we are putting you down for the contest. All right, there you go, man. An electric start before we even get to the drafting element, which I love. So, okay, here we go, folks. I will throw it up here again. We use the PFF mock draft machine. It will be a 2-round mock draft here for the New York Jets. And again, you will see all the settings here on your screen in just a second here. Wait, but I'm a monkey operating a spotlight over here, so just hang on a second. Geez. I had the wrong PFF screen up here. All right, folks. Here we go. All right. See, I knew I'd eventually stumble into the dark and find it. There we go. All right, everybody. So again, Drew Beatty would be making all the picks for the Jets. I have 4 picks inside the top 44, 2, 16, 33, 44. There are no trades at this point. We will eventually do a mock draft for trades, and Drew could get crazy. He could go on spring break, get wild if he wants to. It's up to him out in the audience. But for now, he will pick where they pick. And again, all the settings are 50-50 outside of random. And we've explained it gets a little crazy if we do random. Crazy, not in a good way. So with that being said, let's start this mock draft. Drew, you're on the clock. Fernando Mendoza, as always, goes number 1 overall. The Jets now on the clock with a number 2 overall pick. Post free agency, where does your mind go, Drew Beatty?
Yep. So starting off with their free agency class overall, I really liked what the Jets did. I know, like, we talked about it briefly before we went on. And I know there may not have been like a huge splash signing, right? Like you never hand anybody out $25 million a year in free agency, but really the best front offices, if you look at it, free agency is where it's the whole, like, we always hear draft for need or draft best player available, right? And I think that free agency is really where you can plug a lot of those positional holes that really frees you up to take best player available more often in the draft. And that's really what the best free agency or what the best front offices do in free agency. And I think the Jets nailed that this year. I think when you look, I was pull up the depth chart to run some mock drafts, thinking about what I'm going to do on these shows.
Okay.
It's a good thing when I don't know where to go, because there's not a very clear, obvious positional hole to go to. So obviously, they still have a major need for like number 1, like edge in the rotation. They need a splash guy there. Receiver is still a very obvious hole. But past that, I don't think there's anywhere else in this roster that you're like dying to add a player to. Like, I think you're kind of stable everywhere else. So I've given the Jets front office a lot of props all the way back to last draft. I liked their draft last year. I think this offseason, they've done a great job with all the big trades they made. They really prioritized 2027 picks. And I think that front office kind of prowess has continued to this free agency. I think they did a great job. Like Joseph Asai and Kingsley Enagbare, I love what they've done, adding quality rotational guys into the edge room. But like I said, it's pretty obvious to anybody that you still have a glaring hole for a real number 1 guy in that edge rotation. And it was clear before, but especially after trading Jermaine Johnson, it's been obvious this pick was going to be an edge rusher the entire time. I think it's still between probably David Bailey and Arvell Reese here. Maybe Sonny Styles is in play, but I think it's going to be an edge rusher if we're being real.
Okay.
And I know last time I did one of these, I said David Bailey. But as we get closer to the draft, the scales have kind of tipped much more in the favor of Arvell Reese at this point, where I would be kind of surprised if he's there past number 2. So I think at this point, it's very clearly pointing towards Reese. He said at the combine himself, he prefers to play edge. Teams have asked him about playing edge. I think it's clear that probably not everybody. I'm sure there's some teams that see him more as a hybrid, but generally the consensus, I think, is that he is viewed as an edge across the league, and that's how it should be, I believe. I think he's one of the few guys in this class, probably the only guy at the top, that has a true blend of all speed, power, and flexibility. He can win in all 3 ways. Incredible run defender, even for kind of like undersized, playing, with his hand in the dirt. But I think Arvell Reese You could tell me any of Bain, Reese, or Styles were the best player in this class, and I'd agree with you. I think the three of those guys really graded out about the same for me at the top here. So if it were me, pulling the trigger on this, if I was doing what I would do, I might take Ruben Bain. He's still my number one overall player.
Okay.
But Reese is number 3 for me, and I'm trying to do these as more predictive, like we said, now that we're getting closer to April. So I think Arvell Reese is where they go here, and I think you add one of the 3 best players in the draft.
Let me ask you real quick. I remember that stuff at the combine where Reese said, I want to be an edge. So would he be an edge all the time? Would he be an off-ball linebacker in early downs, and then in obvious passing situations, he'd go down and whether put his hand in his dirt or be a stand-up rusher? Is that the plan? What of the two would you think? Because again, with Aaron Glenn now calling the play, there's a bunch of mystery about who's playing what they're playing, and things of that nature.
Yeah, I mean, I think it really is up to the creativity of the defensive coordinator and how they want to use him. I think there are definitely some teams that see him, like you said, like a linebacker on early downs and maybe a pass rusher on designated pass downs. But for me, like if it were up to me and how I would use him, he would be a hand in the dirt defensive lineman on all 3 plays. I think that's where he thrives as an edge rusher. He is, even at 245 pounds, I think he measured in around. Ridiculously strong. He's one of the best, right there with Ruben Bain as the best run defender in this draft. On the defensive line, he's got a lethal power arsenal. So I think he's a guy that has barely even played on the edge at this point, but his edge tape is so good that the sky is really the limit for him as a pass runner. I think he's got a long way to go there, but also a really high floor. So
let me one more before we make the pick official. If you had to recklessly predict ahead of time, how many sacks do you think Arvell Reese could have in his rookie season?
I think if we're going under the presumption that he is playing only full-time edge, so he's not splitting time, as one of these hybrid players, like he's full, all the time edge rusher.
Yeah.
I think with the right deployment, I think he could be a double-digit sack guy at first. I think he can be around there. Maybe he's more in that like 8 to 9 range as he gets, because you also have to think with the players they added, these guys are going to be rotated out a lot. Like you have Kingsley Anibare and Joseph Osai and Will McDonald, and so there's going to be a lot of rotation there. So maybe that limits him a little bit. But I think talent wise, he's certainly a double-digit sack guy early on in his career. Or has the potential to be.
Well, we can only hope. All right, let's do it. Let's make the pick official. By the way, I agree wholeheartedly. This would be my pick if I was operating the machines. Here we go. New York Jets select Ohio State edge rusher Arvell Reese. Let's go. All right. Like I said, I will only do this from the gap between 2 and 16 of what happened in between all those picks. The other ones, we will just see who is the best available. All right, let's run through everything that happened between point A and point B. Sonny Styles, the Ohio State linebacker, went 3rd overall to the Arizona Cardinals. Jeremiah Love, Notre Dame Golden Domer, went to the Tennessee Titans with the 4th overall pick. Ruben Bain Jr., the pass rusher out of Miami, went to the New York Giants 5th overall. David Bailey, Texas Tech edge rusher, went to the Cleveland Browns at 6th overall. Francis Mauigoa, the offensive lineman out of Miami, went to Washington 7th overall. Mansour Delane, saving on moving costs from LSU to the Bayou of the New Orleans Saints, 8th overall. Carnell Tate, the Ohio State wide receiver, went to the Kansas City Chiefs. Caleb Downs, the Ohio State safety, same thing on moving costs there to the Cincinnati Bengals, 10th overall, the defensive back. Another defensive back-to-back safety, Dylan Thieneman out of Oregon, goes 11th overall to the Miami Dolphins. Spencer Fano, the Utah tackle, goes to the Dallas Cowboys. Monroe Freeling, tackle, goes to Los Angeles Rams, 13th overall. Mekhi Lemon, USC wide receiver, to the Baltimore Ravens. And Kenyon Sadiq, 15th overall out of Oregon, to the Buccaneers, which puts us on the board at 16. Drew, walk us through the thought process.
Yeah, I think here you've plugged the biggest hole, which is you're coming in what you hope to be your number one edge.
Yep.
I think the other most glaring hole is got to be receiver. Garrett Wilson is obviously we all know what he is. He's one of the best receivers in football. But opposite of him, I still love Adonai Mitchell. I've had a lot of faith in him since his pre-draft process. I still like him as a player, but I think you need to go in with him as your wide receiver 3. You need to set up a receiving core, set up, whatever quarterback you're going to plug in as your stopgap starter for the year before you draft your guy next year.
Yeah.
And I think the clear and obvious answer here is Jordan Tyson from Arizona State.
Okay.
He is a guy that spent a lot of this process as the consensus wide receiver 1. Medicals are obviously a big concern for him. He's not played a full season yet in college because he's had them all cut short at one point or another by a different injury. But supposedly he got a clean report in Indianapolis, right? And that's the biggest thing for these players with medical reports is can they leave Indianapolis with the okay from the doctors? And supposedly he did. I think it's impossible to not be a little bit gun shy, regardless of what the doctors say. Right. When you've had a player with this kind of injury history. But again, he is got a clean report as of now. I think that he is a player that is a natural separator. He's just a very clear technician, good route runner, incredible body control. He's just like a ballerina, one of those guys that can really just contort his body in the air. I think he's got your hands. He's solid at the catch point. He's not a guy that's going to go up and be a traditional ball winner for you. He's not a ton of those kind of post up highlight reel reps at the catch point, but very solid. I think he's a good athlete, not great. That's one of the things holding me back on him is he doesn't have that top gear I'd love in a first round receiver. But again, you're drafting him to be more of this kind of route technician, somebody that wins really with just technique more than they do raw traits. And I'd like to see him handle physicality a little bit better. But like I said, he's still one of the best separators in this class. I love the body control. I think he just brings an important skill set too. And I think it's perfect to come in and be a high end wide receiver 2 to Garrett Wilson. I think it's a perfect situation for him. It sets up that Jordan Tyson, Garrett Wilson, and Adonai Mitchell as your receiving core for whatever quarterback you end up with in 2027 is about as good as you could ask for a rookie quarterback coming in. So I really like Tyson here to pair with Garrett Wilson, and I think you set your offense up to be with a really solid receiving core after that pick.
Can you, Dr. Beatty, for all the people we've heard about these medicals, what exactly has Jordan Tyson gone through in his collegiate career? Is it all the same thing? Is it like a one troublesome knee? Is it something else? Is it a combo of things? What's going on there?
Yeah, no, that's the other kind of nuanced part of the discussion is that it hasn't been like a chronic issue too, which things you have to be scared of. It's all been different things. He's had a hamstring, which is probably the most nagging thing that's bothered him in multiple years. I know he had a collarbone at one point. And then there was another injury a couple of years back that's escaping me, but it was not related to those. It was kind of a different freak injury as well. So that's another important part of the discussion where it's been a different injury each year. So, it's not like you can point to like a guy that's got a chronic back issue or like multiple torn ACLs. So I think that might have been an ACL a couple of years ago. Now that I say that, but either way, it's not something like you can point to being a consistent injury issue. It's just that he's had something different each year.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so despite, let me just check something real quick. Let me just take a peek, because I'm pretty sure we didn't say it. All right, so despite the bribery earlier, you're gonna pass on Ty Simpson at this point, and you're gonna go for your wide receiver.
Yeah, I just think again, I'm somebody that has considered myself being a little bit higher on Ty Simpson than most. I think he firmly deserves to be a first round quarterback. He's in my top 50. But I don't think I can pull the trigger at 16 for what the Jets need. I just think you really have to focus on using your resources to build up this roster to go get your guy next year. And I know everybody hates kicking the can down the road. But ultimately, I think if this front office believes that Ty Simpson is a first round worthy quarterback, they're probably just going to take him at 2. And because you can't, anybody could jump up and take him in the teens before he gets to 16. So if you believe he's your guy, you can't really risk waiting and say, oh, we'll just take him at 16, So, and I don't think that ultimately they see him that highly. But I firmly do believe he'll be a first round quarterback. But if not, and we can talk about this more at 33. But if he does happen to be there, at the top of the second round, it's much more of a conversation there to me.
All right, fair enough. So without further ado, I love getting Garrett Wilson some help. So, Drew, I think your draft will be well received on social media. I'm sure no one is going to have any complaints whatsoever. Yes.
That'd be first.
So with the 16th overall pick in the first round, with the second of the Jets' two choices, they take Arizona State wide receiver Jordan Tyson with the 16th overall pick here in this simulation. Now the Jets are picking at 33rd overall, the first pick of the second round. Drew, where do we go here?
Yep. So again, briefly back to the Ty Simpson conversation. I think that, again, extremely unlikely that I think he's here. I imagine he will go at some point in the back end of the first round. But if he is here at 33, that is where I think the conversation begins, where that could be really, really intriguing. I generally,
still
I don't
on
like
the board.
He is here.
Yeah. Yes.
Now, I don't know that I can't pull that trigger just in my head because I think he's going to be a first round pick come April. I really don't think he will.
And
be
you want to
there
make
at
this
33.
realistic as possible, yes?
Yes, I try to make these as realistic and as predictive as possible. And sometimes the PFF board falls a certain way that I think is unrealistic, so I'm going to go a different way. But if Ty Simpson is here, we've seen, like, most notably, it didn't work out, but Will Levis for Tennessee, where they drafted him at the top of the second round a couple of years ago. Every year, if one of these quarterbacks that is considered first round ish caliber, you can see teams you can comfortably take more of a shot, kind of a swing on that guy in the second round, because if you miss on the 33rd pick, big difference between missing on that and the second overall pick. So the risk is a little bit lower here, and it's still, obviously, you can take a swing on a quarterback. The potential reward is very high. So I like Ty Simpson a lot. I think he's a great processor. I thought for the first half of the season he was better than Mendoza, and he kind of fell apart towards the end of the year. But there were injuries and there were reasons for that. But yeah, overall, I don't think he'll be there in the second round. But if he is, I would give a lot of consideration to that at 33. And then I know we talked about trades too. We're going to do a trade mock at some point. But I think this is the clear pick to trade, I think, because first pick on day two is always one of the most coveted picks in the entire draft. And at this point, like I mentioned earlier, the Jets have set themselves up so well from a roster perspective to not have any glaring holes past edge and receiver, which we've already plugged in the first round, that I don't think there's anybody you can't trade back and risk losing, right? Because you've already set yourself up to be stable at most every position. So here, I mean, somebody's going to pay you a premium to come up here to 33 and be at the top of the second round. So this is the pick to trade, and I think the pick to watch to be traded in April. But again, we're not doing that today. So here, it's a lot harder to go true BPA in a situation like this because the same players always fall in these mock drafts. Like, we know exactly who's going to be here using the PFF simulator.
Yeah.
But in real life, like, you always see a shocking slide, like somebody who we thought was a surefire first rounder is going to be here, right? So looking here at the board now, like, I like Colton Hood a lot. He's firmly a first round prospect to me. I think he's an awesome boundary press man corner. But then you look at the corner room and you just added Nashawn Wright. You have Azaria Thomas from last year, who I really, really liked. Still have Brandon Stevens. I mean, do you really want to devote those resources to a corner at the top of the second round, even though I think Colton Hood is an incredible corner? You're not looking at the offensive tackles. You could say Emmanuel Pregnon because you did lose Elijah Vera Tucker, but they signed Dylan Parham. And I don't love Dylan Parham. So if you want an insurance policy at guard, I think that makes a lot of sense. Because Dylan Parham, incredible mover also. I mean, I watched, because he had a lot of ties to the Titans, watching him in free agency. I think he moves really well, but I just worry about him a lot in pass pro. So I think that guard is firmly in the conversation. If you look at like an Emmanuel Pregnon, if he's there at 33, a Chase Pasantis, who we just scrolled by. I think linebacker and safety are also still firmly positions in play because, yes, you added Mario Davis and you've got, Jermaine Sherwood and Mario Davis there. But how many years does Davis really have left in him? And J.D. Sherwood was obviously not what you wanted him to be last year. And then at safety, you bring back Andre Cisco and you trade for Minka, which was one of the best moves of free agency, I thought, for them.
Nice.
So I wouldn't call safety a hole anymore, but I don't think Andre Cisco or Minka are really long-term solutions in that room. So if you want to get ahead of it, this is generally considered a great safety class. So I think you could add a player there as a future insurance policy. I think here, AJ Halsey is the guy I look at where I think he would go around here. I don't know that I pull that trigger here. Linebacker, like I said, that one, I think, like, you look at like a Jacob Rodriguez or a Jake Golday here, are two guys that I think could go at the top of the second round. I mean, we've heard even first round height for Jacob Rodriguez through a lot of this process. I don't have him that high. I think he's more of an early day 3 player to me. But I love his coverage skill set, and people really like like the traits with him. So I'm a little bit lower on that, but he's clearly been in first round talks, like to Denver, especially at 30. That's been a heavily mocked pick. So I think if they go linebacker here, he's in range. Overall, I'm going to mix a little bit of what I would do with predictive, just because I can't help that. Overall, I think I think Dylan Parham will be the day one starter, but I'm going to add a guard here as an insurance policy because I think the guards here at the top of the board are players that I really like. And I think Emmanuel Pregnon should be a first round player in this class, and the fact that he's here, I just don't think you can risk losing out on a guard of that caliber. So I'm going to add Oregon guard Emmanuel Pregnon. He's just a bulldozer in the run game, incredibly powerful, so strong, rock solid in pass protection. He was kind of an ironclad anchor, not gonna lose through his chest. Not the most athletic guard in the world, but like I said, I think he has more than enough power to make up for it. So, and how confident really? I know they re-signed Josh Myers. How really confident are you in him? I know I've heard a lot of teams were looking at Parham as a potential center convert. So at the end of the day, you could, if you think Pregnon's a day one starter, you could let Dylan Parham and Josh Myers fight it out for the starting center spot, and then Pregnon's your day one starter. So I just think adding him into what can be kind of a questionable interior offensive line room after losing ABC makes a lot of sense, and I think Pregnon's a great player.
What is the snap dispersion on Pregnon? Has he only been like a left guard in college, or like sort of what has he played in college?
He was primarily a right guard for Oregon, if I'm remembering correctly.
Okay.
Because I think he might have flipped when he was at USC. I think he was on the other side, if memory serves. But yeah, I think he was a right guard for Oregon this year.
Okay, interesting. All right. Well, again, the Jets do have versatile guys. You mentioned Dylan Parham. He has guard experience, center experience. Joe Tippmann has guard and center experience. Josh Myers was a top 5 guard coming out of high school, so he's been exclusively a center at the NFL level. But interesting that you can play some games. But I like that, adding to the trench warfare here. So, all right, let's hit it, baby. I like it. Here we go. All right, with the 33rd overall pick, the New York Jets select Oregon offensive lineman Emmanuel Pregnon with the 33rd overall pick. Some hog molly action there to replace some of what was lost with John Simpson, Elijah Vera Tucker exiting stage left. All right, we've done a lot so far in this mock with some defense, some offense. Now where do we go here, Drew Beatty?
Yeah, I think here might be where I look to add safety. And I think that if AJ Halsey is still on the board, that makes a lot of sense. I think, like I said, Andre Cisco, I like him. I think he's a good player. Him and Minka are obviously the two kind of shoe-in starters. But I think you need more insurance beyond them. They're both aging. I don't know how long or how much of a future they really have left in the league. And I think in a safety class like this that has the level of talent this one does, you really want to start a plan for the future. And I think AJ Halsey can really replace that box safety kind of enforcer over the middle of the field role that you need in this defense. And he's a guy that Aaron Glenn is going to love. He packs some shotgun stopping power. He's a guy that he likes to throw that shoulder around as a tackler. Like it can get him kind of in trouble sometimes because he'll really emphasize getting that highlight tackle over maybe being the most sound tackler in the world. But he's got a huge frame, and when he really gets ahead of steam, he'll drop that shoulder, and there's some lethal hits. So he's really your old school enforcer over the middle, not the rangiest guy in the world, but he can really come down and play that kind of hybrid box safety linebacker role, and really improve that secondary. So he gives you kind of a third swing safety if you want to move Minka to the nickel. Like he's played some if you want to do that. And I think he just adds more flexibility to your secondary and gives you kind of a long-term option to develop for the future in your secondary.
Yeah, the Jets also have Malachi Moore, who they're super high on from last year. He's sort of versatile. He can play some nickel. He can play some safety. He did sign Dane Belton as well. He's been a big-time special teamer for a lot of his career, but he also got the most safety snaps of his career last year, playing over 700 snaps. So he's in that room too. But I agree with you. I wouldn't rule out safety as a possibility. The only one I want to push you on and see what your thoughts are. You were mentioning Jacob Rodriguez at 33. He's still on the board here at 44. Is that a realistic thing of why you wouldn't want to consider him here at 44?
No, I mean he's also firmly in the conversation. That's why I think it's really, that's what I say when it makes mock drafts hard. It's a good indication of where your roster is, because there's not like for a lot of these teams when you do these mock drafts, it's like very clear. Okay, my first 2 rounds need to be this position, and this position. And the first round is still kind of like that for New York, but past that, like you can really just read the board and take the best value. And I like Jacob Rodriguez a lot, and I mean maybe another linebacker makes more sense as an insurance policy. You kind of making me second guess myself here because, like you said, Malachi Moore gives you your versatile piece. And I think Halsey would pair well with him long term skill set wise. I think they kind of complement each other well. So I mean, it really I think it also depends on how long term you see your current safety pieces. Like how many years do they think they can get out of Minka and Cisco? So
Cisco, just real quick, Cisco's on a 1-year deal. So 1 year, no nothing deal, like barely anything's guaranteed. So I'm surprised they were able to bring him back. I figured he wouldn't want to come back and the Jets wouldn't want him back because last year it did not go well. But I like Cisco, the player. Minka immediately on his trade signed a 3-year extension. So for nice money. So I think Minka's here for at least the next chunk of foreseeable time. Malachi Moore obviously just got drafted last year. Dade Belton's a 1-year deal. Cisco's a 1-year deal. So again, you could totally speak safety into existence. Linebacker, right? DeMario's 37. He's got a 2-year deal. He's closer to the end than the beginning. Jamin Sherwood, what's his future? Is he even on the roster by the start of 2026? If he's not, then there's a massive gaping hole at the second level of your defense. But again, you can make the argument for both. And apparently the safety class is as rich and deep as everyone says it is. I mean, the Jets would be naive to skip out of it entirely.
Yeah, let's take a look at the linebacker board at least before we make any decisions, because I think that this is also the best linebacker class we've seen in years, comfortably, along with the safety class. So this is a defensive-heavy draft, talent-wise, and I think it's loaded at the position the Jets need to look at long-term. So it's in a good spot for them, too. Still the two guys I'm talking about with Golday and Rodriguez are still here. Now, if it were me, I'd be all over Josiah Trotter. He's a borderline top 20 player on my board. But I'm not sure the NFL sees him quite this high. So I think, again, the conversation is between Golday and Rodriguez. I think Rodriguez is kind of more your pure coverage linebacker, not the most athletic guy in the world. He didn't have that sideline to sideline range you might want. He didn't bring quite as much pop in the run game as I'd love. And Golday brings more of that, but he's not quite the kind of coverage technician that Rodriguez was. And Rodriguez, he created so many turnovers for that Texas Tech defense. He just has a knack for the peanut punch, always knocking the ball out.
Love that.
A lot of interceptions. Like I said, he's just kind of that guy that patrols the middle of the field in coverage. So I might prefer Golday myself, but I think the NFL is a lot higher on Rodriguez here. And I expect him to go kind of in this, mid-second round, 50-ish kind of range for these picks. And the more we dug into the safety and linebacker rooms, I think you do kind of feel more comfortable about the depth of bodies in the safety room than you do the linebackers, I think. And Rodriguez, I think that coverage skill set meshes well with the current. So I think, Paul, my assistant GM here kind of flipped my mind a little bit. Let's go with Rodriguez here.
Wow. I was just able to bully Drew Beatty into a new decision, baby. And I will tell you, I don't know what my influence is as the assistant GM in this room, but okay. All right. I think that's my first time having done that this entire draft cycle. So
I'm glad you did. I think that's a better pick.
Okay, here we go. Drew Beatty, psych, assistant GM Boy Green has run over to the podium. He submitted this pick in while Drew was grabbing a coffee. Texas Tech linebacker Jacob Rodriguez with the 44th overall pick, which again completes our mock draft. I'll bring that up in a second in the finished form so Drew can get his report card grade that he's so desperately waiting for from the Football Focus overlords. And we will be putting this out on social media. So folks, you'll be able to, I love getting to do that because, there is all kinds of reactions that come out from the universe of everyone who comes in. So that's always a good time. Let me put this up on the board and we can cap this draft and answer a couple of random questions here, Drew, before we let you dip. Let's bring this up here on the big board. Here it is. This is the full mock draft, post free agency here for Drew Beatty. You can't see the grade. Let me turn off the banner so you can see the grade that I built a lot of suspense here. B. All right, that's not bad. A lot of people scrape by high school with B's. B's are solid. I'll hide it for now so people can just dream of what it could have been. We have Arvell Reese, Ohio State defender, second overall. Jordan Tyson, wide receiver at Arizona State, 16th overall. 33rd overall is Oregon offensive lineman Emmanuel Pregnon. And then 44th overall, Jacob Rodriguez, the Texas Tech linebacker here for the Jets. Look at this balance. See, Thanos was talking about this in one of those superhero movies. Look at this balance. Defense together. Was that a planned attack for you, Drew? Did you come in here wanting a little bit of some offensive defense?
The only picks I came in here kind of predetermined were the Reese and Tyson stuff. I thought that kind of was the clear blueprint for the first round. But I came in with no real plan on day 2. I was just going to kind of let the board speak to me with 33 and 44. And again, I got a good assistant GM around me. We got a good front office here on Boy Green Daily. So I appreciate the input from the other guys in the personnel department. But yeah, I mean, overall, I think you had a good balance. You improve. You had, on day 2, even those guys, you don't even need them to be day 1 starters, right? You have Josh Myers and Dylan Parham to be your day 1 guys if Pregnon needs more time to develop, and you've got Davis and Sherwood to be the guys if Rodriguez needs to be more of a rotational kind of coverage guy at first. So, not exactly relying on those guys to be day 1 starters is a huge thing. And again, I think that points more to the Jets front office and how much I like what they've done in free agency to plug holes and get kind of those mercenary starters that you kind of draft and build your rookies up. Yeah, I mean, I think you had a top 3 player in this class in Arvell Reese. One of the consensus top receivers, even if I'm a little bit lower on him, and Jordan Tyson. I love Emmanuel Pregnon. I think he's firmly a first-round player in this class. He's a steal at 33. Again, Rodriguez, I might be a little bit lower on him, but the coverage skill set makes a lot of sense in the room. And the NFL is very clearly high on him. I think he's going to be a borderline top 50 guy. So overall, like a great draft. But again, I don't know if I can really grade my own work here.
Yeah, well, we'll let the people do it. A couple of things from the comment section. The Meadowland Swamp Thing says B- for Reese is hilarious, right? There's an overall grade, and then there's an individual grade for each pick. And then NC Green asks, what in God's green earth would have resulted in an A? So obviously the PFF machine saying, that's not what we would have done. What would you have done? What do you mean? If it's not Fernando Mendoza, like what other pick could they have said, you know what, that's a slightly better grade? It's a good question from NC Green. What the hell else could we have possibly done it to? I don't, not sure I get that one, Drew.
Yeah, it just all judges by what the PFF board thinks, which is just Trevor Sycamore's board. And I think he's a great draft analyst. So yeah, it matches up versus where you take them versus where they are on the board, which is obviously not how it always goes in the draft. But yeah, I can't really fathom Arvell Reese being a B- anywhere in the first round.
Yeah, and here you go. By the way, Jay Reeves says, your best draft of the year, Drew. Encore. Well, if you guys beautiful. There you go. See, Drew.
Will be the first one that anybody in the Jets fan base likes from me. That could be a first.
Okay, look at that. Yeah, I'm seeing John Bogo. Great picks. Trophy has this going on. So, all right.
Took me until March 16th, but I might have done it.
Yeah, there you go. You nailed it. See, this is really if I ever do, I have not done a mock draft by myself here on the show yet. But if I do, this is the response I want. I can live with that. That's basically the answer
all I
I
can
want
ask
here.
for.
Yeah, 100%. That's totally it. So appreciate that. Again, we'll be putting this out on social media after the show, guys, so you guys can react to it, put it on Instagram, Facebook, everywhere else. So you guys can get those in. So we'll pepper you here with a couple of questions, folks. If you have questions out in the audience for our draft analyst, Drew Beatty here, you can super chat those in. I'll get to those ones first. But if you have any other questions or comments for Drew, feel free to feed them in. I'll also be peppering him with questions in here as well. Drew, now we're in the thick of pro day season. Some have already happened. Some more are still to come. What's your most pressing question on a prospect that you hope will get answered on one of these pro days?
Well, that's a good question. I think most of the pro day stuff is really what happens behind closed doors for these teams. Like they get into the buildings, they get to really meet these guys and meet the people around them in the building. You get some testing numbers from the pro days. But ultimately, like I said, I don't put a lot of stock in testing when it comes to my own personal grades. So is it nice to get some of that context from their testing? Sure. But really it's the medicals and the behind the scenes stuff that these teams get to find out in pro days, which obviously I can't know, we can't know. It's not really public information. But I think that is that's the real value in these pro days. And just getting to know, do they have a clean medical, and what do the people around them think of them personality wise?
Yes, that's fair. And quite frankly, a lot at the combine, right? We'd never know. It's
Yeah,
what's
right.
going on in that speed dating interview process behind the scenes. Now we hear nuggets, but are the nuggets true? Is it sabotage from other teams to tank other guys' prospects? I guess everything is sort of on the table there from that perspective. Do you think that for instance, Carnell Tate, what did he run, like a 4.54 or something in terms of the 40-yard
Yeah, I
dash? Is
think
that gonna? Yeah,
4.52 somewhere in there.
yeah. So is that going to strongly affect his draft stock or no?
I don't think. I think he's still firmly a top 10 pick in this class. He's still my number 5 overall player on my board. Still a top 5 guy for me. He's been my wide receiver 1 throughout this whole process. I still love Carnell Tate, and I think if you that's a perfect example. I'm glad you brought that up. When I say how much I don't impact testing into my own grades, I think it's you can't double count things, right? Like we saw that with Ruben Bain. We already knew he had short arms going into the combine. You can't knock him again for measuring in with short arms, right? That was already a known thing. With Carnell Tate, like if you watch him, I think I would consider him still a great athlete. I think he has a lot of long speed, he's a long strider. But he's never been like that 4.4, 4.3 burner type guy. That's not really how he wins. So I don't think you can knock Tate again, when you already knew he wasn't maybe that upper echelon of athlete for running a 4.54. And also, I mean, look around the league, the best receivers in the league. CeeDee Lamb ran in the 4.5s. I mean, there are plenty of receivers who we consider to be the top tier of wide receiver 1s in the NFL that ran in the 4.5s. I think that there's a rate of diminishing return on speed when it comes to NFL receivers. That it's like, as long as you are not too slow to win, that's really all you need. Like the difference between a low 4.5 guy and a 4.2 guy at the end of the day, when you can do the other parts of receiver well, I don't believe is all that big when it comes to game speed in the NFL. So doesn't really do anything for me. It might knock his stock a tiny bit around the league. He might move from borderline top 5 to 6 pick to top 10 pick overall. But yeah, I still don't really expect him to fall past that kind of 8-9 range.
Which, speaking of your board, I think this may be our first show since this has happened, but your board is now public, is it not, Drew Beatty?
It is. I published my first top 50 pre-combine, or right around the combine. You can find it on my Twitter at Iron City Film right over there. I'm working on that. I'm up over 100 players now. I'd like to get to at least 150 and post the top 100 before, and I like to have a continuously updated board published somewhere. So I'm still grinding away at the tape, hoping to have that up by around the start of April, so people can start really digging into my board and getting familiar with stuff pre-draft. So hopefully we'll have that soon.
I don't know if you do this. We talked about this before in a different way. Before I knew that your board was out, right? This was pre-board being out. I guess it's always like BCAD, but I got to work the initials for before Drew Beatty got his board out and after he got his board out. Drew, when and I know one player in particular because I was talking to somebody about it. It came up when I was sharing your board out, and someone went, "What the?" It's on the David Bailey stuff. And again, when you get those out, do you have any other ones where your analysis versus consensus is there's a massive gap? I know David Bailey's in that he's barely inside your top 50, but who else is
that? Bailey's probably the biggest note where he's like consensus top 5, top 10 guy for everybody. He's like 49 on my board. I think probably the next one I can think of is Chris Brazzell, kind of on the opposite end, where he's more of like a consensus day 2 guy, and he is 9th on my board currently.
Wow.
So that's a big one. Ted Hurst, the Georgia State receiver, is a guy that's 18th for me, and he's still like in the 3rd round, like consensus board. So there's always a handful of guys that especially at a class like this, right, where the talent level is generally lower, and it's more of a pick your flavor kind of draft. You're gonna have a lot of variance in boards. So those are probably the 3 most noteworthy I can think of where it's the biggest difference from consensus. But there's always a couple of guys that I end up way different on.
Good question here. Meadowland Swamp Thing. How many do you have to grade to get a top 150? Because I assume it's not just the first random 150 people you watch. Well, here's my top 150. So it's a great question from Meadowland Swamp Thing.
Yeah, I like to get around 200-ish guys watched before I post the top 150. Ideally more in like the 220 to 250 range. But sometimes if you just want to get it out, I like to have a top 200 minimum, or have 200 players watched minimum to get a top 150 somewhere around there. But yeah, that's a good question, because you got to have range of players to pick from to be the top 150. You can't just, like you said, be the first 150 guys you watched.
So how do you determine which 150 or 200 you are going to watch? Because I assume it's not random. You have like a dartboard somewhere in your house off camera that you just throw it on. Oh, I guess I'm watching this guy. So like, how do you go through that process of picking the 150 or 200 that you choose to watch? And then obviously, I assume you're choosing them because you think they have capabilities of being a top 150 or top 200 player.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I usually try to go position by position and just watch the position groups top to bottom, to a certain extent. And I just try to go by consensus, or if there's a player that I've gotten a recommendation from somebody that I trust who's really good, I'll add them to the watch list. But yeah, I try to keep a watch list that just gets continuously updated, and it's usually based around consensus.
All right. If someone recommends you should watch a prospect and that prospect is terrible, do you do you then put like in the contact of that person that texted you? Do you put like a little fuck you emoji or something?
Just doesn't know ball. I just put that in.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Is that what happens? Yeah.
No, I mean, I guess it depends on the extent. If somebody tells me to watch a guy they have in like their top 50 and I think he's like an undrafted free agent grade, I might kind of think of them differently going forward. But no, I mean, if it's like a round or two difference, everybody sees the draft differently. So I try not to judge anybody too much. But every once in a while, you'll have one of those head scratchers.
Respect. All right, we'll get a couple more questions in here. This is fun. So, guys, keep peppering the chat with questions, and I'll throw a couple over here with Drew before we get him out of here. Is there a player that, let me throw this up from NC Green. He says he would like a guard and a center in this draft. We have a chance to have a top O line. Let's leverage that. Yeah, Josh Myers is the one you sort of openly pontificated earlier, like William Shakespeare holding a skull. How confident are you in Josh Myers, are you? And I would have answered, but the question is like, I'm sort of mid. He started all 17 games last season. The Jets were the only team in the NFL that started the same 5 all year long. So, he was one of 5. He was a piece of that puzzle, and that means something. I'm not trying to denigrate the man. And then they extended him at the end of the year, and I like that because that gave you a floor. Because if Josh Myers had gone, there was another hole you would have had to fill in free agency. And I saw your team and other teams having troubles trying to figure out what they're doing at center in free agency. So that's another hole. And then only one team won the Tyler Linderbaum sweepstakes. So is there a player in this draft that is a center that everyone should be circling, or maybe a guard that can flip the center? Like, who is in your center conversation that you like in the draft that is worthy, and where are they going in the draft?
Yeah, the center class is interesting because I think it's pretty deep, and there's some players that I like a lot going further down the list, but I think it's probably one of the weakest at the top that we've seen. Like, I don't think anybody's taking a true, or at least somebody who played center, like that might not be a potential convert, like an actual former college center. I don't think you see one of those until mid to late day 2, at the earliest in this class. And like I love Sam Hecht from Kansas State. I think he's kind of emerged as the consensus top guy. You've got Logan Jones from Iowa is another guy that I really like. Matt Golden from Michigan State. Potentially even Parker Brailsford from Alabama. He's more of a smaller, kind of quicker center, more in the Dylan Parham kind of build. But yeah, I mean, overall, it's a fun, deeper center class. Like Trey Zune is another convert that people have talked about, who played both off the tackle and center for Texas A&M. Had a good Senior Bowl before he got injured. There's like a fun group that can be kind of deep. But I don't you're not seeing anybody take a center on day 1, minus one potential caveat. Spencer Fano from Utah, who has spent a lot of the pre-draft process talked about as one of the top tackles in this class, now is, to my knowledge, being primarily viewed across the league as an interior guy, whether that be a guard or a center. I think the NFL has really started to view him more as an interior guy than a tackle. And he seems like a prime center convert to me. He's got a really low center of gravity, incredibly athletic, one of the most athletic linemen I've ever evaluated, and works so well in space. He's a clear, I think a guy that makes a lot of sense as a center convert. So if anybody takes a center on day 1, I think you're taking Spencer Fano with the idea he's a center. But as far as taking true centers, like guys who played it in college, I think Sam Hecht is probably the first guy you see somewhere on day 2.
Jesse Owen, we have a lot of Jeremiah Love fans in our audience. Luby, Super Jets fan. Hep. Me, I mean, I'm a Notre Dame Golden Domer myself. I love Notre Dame. Jesse Owen asks, are we underestimating our strengths when not considering Jeremiah Love at 2? Because again, AG seems like he loves running the football. Brees Hall for now is just a franchise tag situation, so it's short term, not long term. Like Jeremiah Love, it wasn't your choice because it was the mock draft machine. You were only picking for the Jets, but I saw Jeremiah Love fall into your laps there at fourth overall with the Tennessee Titans. I'm sure you really enjoyed that. So, right, why shouldn't the Jets consider Jeremiah Love?
Yeah, and I'm having this conversation ongoing in Titan circles right now because he's kind of the favorite for the pick at 4 right now for them. It's not a knock on Jeremiah Love, the player, at all, because he's number 6 on my board right now. I think he's I just don't believe he's in the blue chip tier of running backs. Like I don't think he's on quite the level of Bijan, Saquon, Genty, that level of running back. I think he's just below it. So I love Jeremiah Love. I think he firmly deserves to be a top 5 to 10 player in a draft class like this. But when you look at the teams who are drafting at the top, it's because the rosters are flawed top to bottom, right? And ultimately, we saw it with the Raiders last year, where a lot of teams, especially rebuilding teams who are often in the top 10, just are not ready to add a first round running back. That's a complimentary, that's a cherry on top piece of the puzzle. And I just think the Jets are a team that has to use a second overall pick to add a true game changer at a premium position. And I know people hate the positional value nerds, and I hate to be one of them, to be honest with you. But positional value is a painfully real thing in the NFL. And you have to use premium picks on premium positions. And I think you have a chance to add a real game changer at edge, which is one of the most premium positions to me. And I don't think you can pass that up for a running back at this point with the state of the roster for New York. But again, it's nothing on Jeremiah Love as a player. I think he's firmly one of the best players in this class.
So there's been varying opinions on this. So I'm not just trying to push you and another draft analyst in an octagon here, but there's some that say, "Oh, Jeremiah Love is better than Bijan Robinson's and those guys." I've heard you and others say, I don't think he's quite at that level. Like, what is the truth here? I mean, you can only speak your own truth, I suppose, but there are some that believe Jeremiah Love is just at that same top level that Saquon's are, Bijan Robinson's are, Jahmyr Gibbs are, and others obviously feel differently. Why do you believe he is not in that category?
I think it really just boils down to what traits you truly value in a running back. So for some people who just want pure athleticism and receiving upside, then it makes sense for Jeremiah Love to be a blue chip guy in their eyes. Versus me, contact balance is, I think, one of the most important parts of being a running back at the next level. And I think Jeremiah Love has good vision and good contact balance, but I don't think he has elite vision or elite contact balance. And I think those are the two most important things to me when evaluating a running back. So as great of a player as he is, I don't think I can put him in that Bijan, Saquon, Genty tier of prospects, because those guys had, generally the same, maybe not, Genty might not have been quite the level of athlete that Love is, but I think he had a lot better eyes and a lot better power than Love does. So that's the two things that I just weight some of the things that he might be a little bit worse at heavier than some things. Like if I weighted, receiving upside heavier in a running back, or if just pure, linear straight line athleticism, then Love might be higher for me. But just somebody personally who values lower body strength and contact balance a lot in running backs, that's where I think Love falls a little bit short.
All right, Drew, final question here, or comment, really. I mean, I'm not really sure what this would be, but I am going to the draft for the first time in my life. I've been a diehard draft fan my entire life. I'm going to Pittsburgh. I will be there when Roger Goodell is screaming whatever the hell the Jets are doing. I will be reacting live there in Pittsburgh. Any advice as I head to the draft for the first time ever?
Bring your Reese jersey, I guess. Go ahead and get one of those.
Oh, okay. All right, nice. All right, so I can feel pretty confident getting that printed.
It's your money, so maybe don't take that too seriously. But if I had to flag plant now, then I would say yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Drew, thank you as always for joining us here on the show, and we'll see you next week, pal.
Yeah, thanks, Paul.
Up there he is, Drew Beatty at Iron City Film. Again, you guys can check out his board there and all the great work he does. Some great conversations with Drew Beatty at Iron City Film. Again, we took a week off last week because of free agency. I felt it sort of defeated the purpose. If we did any kind of mock draft or anything, the Jets were about to sign a bulk of players, and I thought that would be, and to give Drew a break. He's been doing it every single week for a bunch of weeks and many more weeks to come. He's here for another 6-7 weeks of doing these on the show. So very, very interesting. But Tank for Ty, all the respect to you, sir. that you attempted to do your best job to put it on his forefront of his mind. I thought he was totally drafted Ty Simpson for the first time, Tank for Ty. I thought for sure he was taking him somewhere. I'm not quite sure. Jets are picking Ty at 2. Not sure if it was that, but I thought for sure he'd take him at 16, and he went in a different direction, obviously, as we highlighted here with our mock draft here from Drew Beatty, Arvell, Reese, Jordan, Tyson. He went Tyson instead. I thought for sure that your influence with that super chat was going to do it, Tank for Ty, which, again, I can only respect. I can only respect that. And I've loved having you in the last couple of months here in the chat, doing God's work here. So I thought for sure that was going to influence, but very smart on you to attempt to right at the beginning of the show. Hey, by the way, very nice. Good work. Good work there. All right, let's do this, everybody. I see we have a lot of questions in the comments, We got a lot of stuff there to dig into, but we'll also open up the phone lines here on the program. Again, we'll also be live. Not that I'm ending the show right now, but I'm just letting you know we will be live at 11 o'clock as well, having all kinds of fun hoopla on the show here on this channel, on the MC Show digital channel as well. Again, I want to give another shout out, horns up to JWW Jets Worldwide. They surpassed over 500 subscribers live on the show yesterday, which is super cool. So congratulations to Snowball and Johnny Boy for that. Let's play a quick halftime out. Your phone calls are welcome next, right here on Boy Green Daily.
1, 2, 3. Whoa! Boy Green, fucking daily, fucking daily, fucking daily. Talking Jets football, man. All right. Boy Green daily, fucking daily, fucking daily. The New York Jets Football Club. Offense, defense, special teams, watch Jets football with Boy Green. Everyone, J-E-T-S, Jets. Boy Green, fucking daily, fucking daily, fucking daily. Talking Jets football, man. All right. Boy Green, fucking daily, fucking daily, fucking daily. Nice. Offense, defense, special teams, watch Jets football with Boy Green. J-E-T-S, Jets. Let's go!
Can't wait for the tailgate next year. It's going to be spectacular. I see this from the Meadowland Swamp Thing. Nice John Cena shirt, Elroy. Yeah, baby. Yeah, you see this? This is John Cena is now retired, but John Cena went to MetLife Stadium, our home turf, and there was this Jet shirt has this green, the Jet green on it, and everything. The last time is now, so I had to get that John Cena shirt when he visited the lovely confines of MetLife Stadium. That was last summer. So salute to the greatest of all time, the GOAT, the never-before-seen 17-time champion, baby. Oh, yeah. Big salute. So thank you for noticing. Thank you. Yes. NC Green with a super chat coming in.
Wow.
He says the player that gives an A grade to the Jets at number 2 is Bain on PFF, which would speak to what Drew Beatty said earlier. Trevor Sikkema, who joined our show a week or two ago, his top player is like Ruben Bain. He loves Ruben Bain. He wants the Jets to draft Ruben Bain. He doesn't think they will. So that's the one deficit, I guess, if you want to say that for the PFF board. That is Trevor Sikkema's personal board. Although he did tell me, I can't remember if it was on air or off air, that he's working on that behind the scenes. So the board is just a general board. It's not his board, so it's judging against him. So maybe the grades will change in the future when Drew Beatty does a couple more of these mock drafts, because we'll have Drew do a final mock. We'll have him do a trade mock, a 7-round mock. So he has a few more other mocks between now and draft time. We'll see if he gets more opportunities there. We'll test out that grading system. But here, behind the scenes, they're working to try to correct that or update that for whatever word you want to use. So I'm hearing they're doing that behind the scenes. I can't remember if I said that on air. But NC Green, more super chat raffle tickets for you, my friend. Appreciate that out in the audience. All righty. Let's get to the phone lines, people. As a pinned comment on youtube.com/boygreen25 here on the program. Without further ado, let's go to him. It's Hep.
Hey, Paul. Hey, fellas. I don't know about an often injured running back with our 16th pick. I mean, a
Wide receiver, yeah, right.
with with our 16 pick. Already we have problems with receivers in that category. I don't want to even dip my toe in that water.
Yeah, the fact that he has never played a full college football season because he's injured, and then what in the NFL they hit softer. Like I see the highlight tape that people show on Jordan Tyson. It's
Sure.
exciting. It's scintillating. I heard Daniel Jeremiah joined the Jets desk at the combine, and they asked him what's like the perfect compliment. And he had a different receiver mentioned Malachi Fields at Notre Dame, but he was like sort of talking through the question, and he brought up Jordan Tyson, and and then they show the highlight tape, you're like, ooh, and then you hear the injury stuff, you're like, oh, not so sure.
Yeah, I don't know, but I mean, I feel I'd be as much as I don't want to. I'd rather have the guard. At least I know what I'm getting.
Right, and he was on the board at 16, which I was like, ooh, I wonder if Drew's going to dip his toe. Like it's right there as the quote unquote BPA on that particular PFF board today. I was like, is he gonna go? And he went a completely, or Ty Simpson is tank for Ty was trying to get or something. So yeah. The injured wide receiver thing gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Me too. As far as Ty Simpson's concerned, I was really on the Ty Simpson train earlier last year, and then I found out the injury and losing all that weight and stuff.
Yeah.
But that kid, he really can. He's really like what you call the point guard. He really can read the field, and we've been talking about that for years. So like, don't be a hero, just be a point guard. Just get it to the guy. Just get it to your guys. So if we did wind up with Ty Simpson, I wouldn't have a heart attack, guys. He is really a good as far as he almost reminds me of John Starks from the Knicks. He just really knows how to really see the field, to really see what's going on, and really distribute the ball.
And for people who don't know, I've heard Rich talk about this, that he's a coach's son. So like he has been getting fed this his entire life of like, and Rich says when he does these private meetings that he did like at the combine or the pro days or at the team facilities, he's going to kill it on the whiteboard because he's an incredibly intelligent, smart kid. I hear that, I'm like, phenomenal. Yes. So that sounds like good for business.
And even if I get Ty Simpson as far as this, I'm still going to draft a quarterback next year, because why not?
Right.
Right. And I think with the league going to 18 games, we're going to need two quarterbacks just to get through the season. And you're going to, that second quarterback is going to be more and more valuable as time goes on. The game is changing. You'll see.
Yeah.
It's weird. But anyway, I'll see you guys on the rebound.
Okay, there he is. Hep joining us here on the program. Great stuff from Hep. Yeah, Ty seems like a really smart kid, and I think I'm with Hep. I mean, it will be when you take I've said this before. When you take a quarterback in the first round, there is a reaction. It's not like you're taking a left guard and people just go, "Oh, okay." Like, I think we'd all have a reaction no matter who they take in the first round because we're diehard Jet fans. But like, there is if you take a quarterback in the first round, there's just a reaction. There are people who are going to love it. There are people that are going to hate it, and it is. It's all encompassing from that standpoint. But oh my, that is, again, in the simplest form, the NFL is the haves and the have-nots. You either have a quarterback or you don't, or you try to get one. And tank for Ty is very strong. That Ty Simpson is that guy for the Jets, and maybe he is. We will see. We've got 6-ish weeks, give or take, until the 5-ish weeks, I believe now, till the 2026 NFL draft. So it's coming. It's coming, folks. So we'll keep getting you prepared for it as we go through this process. All right, let's go to the phone lines. Easy is up next. Easy.
Hey. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Sure.
All right. Let's make that a little better. Okay. Well, I wasn't as impressed with his draft for one of the reasons Hep said you're getting a broken receiver who hasn't played a full season.
Right.
I would have gone with the guard, not Pregnon, but the other guard.
The Penn State kid at 16?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
I have a question, though. Everyone keeps talking about this guy has like Tyrannosaurus Rex arms. how much shorter are they really? I mean, do you have
which person
his
in particular?
dimensions?
And I can pull it up. Who are you talking
Bane,
about? Ruben
Bane.
Bain. Yeah, let's pull it
Yeah.
up.
I mean, is he like an inch shorter, or is he like 4 inches shorter? I mean, what the hell are they talking about with Ruben Baines? Why is everyone making such a big deal over it? Doesn't seem like.
Yeah,
You
so
follow what
he
I'm saying?
had 30 and 7/8 inch arms is what he measured at the combine. Let me
Mhm.
see if I have all the other people's. Yeah, so 30. So remember that 30 and 7/8 inch arms. Let me
So figure
see.
31 inch arms.
Yeah, right. Let's just do it from that perspective. And I'm trying to see. That arm length is the third shortest by a pass rusher since 1999. So I guess that's why. And then when you say like how short are they? It looks like
Yeah.
for instance David Bailey, he has basically his arms are 3 inches longer than his Keldrick Falk of Auburn has like 4-inch longer arms. So, we're talking about 2 to 4 inches. Some guys have more, but that's a couple of guys I'm seeing on here. And I'm seeing this. This is just from an article. Sub 31 inch arms, which Ruben Bain has, are rare for high first round picks. No edge rusher with sub 31 inch arms has been selected in the top 100 since at least 1999. So Ruben Bain is going to be taken somewhere in the first 3 rounds. But he would be the first guy in 27 years with his arm length. So I guess that's
All right. But how's his bench press?
Oh yeah.
How's his military press? Because if his arms are only like 2 to 3 inches shorter than the other guys, but he's a monster and he can bench press and he can grab a guy, and once he grabs the guy, he's got like vice grips and the guy doesn't like shake loose.
Yeah.
I mean, there's more than just the length of his arms. I mean, if the guy's strong as an ox, or if he's got a grip like a lobster, I mean, what? Who cares?
Right.
You
He didn't
follow what I'm
participate in
saying?
the combine. Yeah, no, I'm hearing what you're saying. I'm saying he didn't participate in the combine, so we don't have any of those that data. How many bench press reps did he have? What was this? What was this? He didn't participate. He said he's going to let his tape do the speaking for him. So he didn't participate in any of that, so it's unclear.
Well, I think he hurt himself by not participating, because
I do too.
if he had an elite bench press or military press or one of those, or those elite strength, if his arms were indeed a little shorter, if he has elite strength, he can still push off, or he can still grab a guy and throw him to the side, or he can still grab a running back by the uniform and hold on and pull him down. So
yeah, see, Johnny Boy just sent me this with Ruben Bain in his little arms. He sent me this T-Rex arm picture of him. So,
that's ridiculous.
Yeah, come on, man. He looks like a little kid in this. Come on, Johnny Boy. That's not very
Come on, that's so like AI and produced.
Yeah, I know, 100%. Come on, man.
Photoshop. Yeah, that's
Photoshop. That's it. Yeah.
Oh my God. See, I don't buy into that shit. I think if the guy is a baller and he's got pro size, all right, so his arms are a little shorter, but if he's got pro size and pro strength and he's got the tape, then you can't like bash him just for that one physical attribute. Right. I mean, Wesley Walker, we drafted a quarterback who was legally running wide receiver who was legally blind in one eye, and he was one of the best we ever had. So I mean, fucking tell me who was better on our team than Wesley Walker.
Loved Wesley. Yeah.
The guy's legally blind in one eye, and he was one of our greatest receivers.
Yep, one of the best.
So now I'm not advocating for getting Ruben Bain, okay, but I'm just saying, talking about his arms being a little shorter, I think that's just a bullshit excuse.
I think Troy Sturgis agrees with you. He has a super chat.
Wow.
100%. If you have that lobster grip that Easy was just talking about, $2 super chat coming in for Troy Sturgis says you have to be able to grab with small arms. If you have smaller arms, as long as and Trevor Sikkema told me this on the show, and then he explained this on the official podcast. If people with short arms, pass rushers, are trying to long arm people at the NFL level, they won't be able to do that. But he says Ruben Bain does not do that. So that's not where short arm length is going to come into factor.
Right.
Because the things that Ruben does very well doesn't rely on his arm length to do it. He does other things. That's what Trevor
Right. If you look at some of the old tapes of Joe Klecko, when quarterbacks were trying to run around, once he grabbed that guy, it was over. He would literally be able to grab him and pull him down to the ground with one arm because he was that strong. I mean, John Hanna, who is a Hall of Fame guard for the Patriots, said that he couldn't block him.
Hey, NC Green just said John Randall had 31-inch arms, and he's a Hall of Famer. So,
thank you. It's just, it is what it is. If you're that good, you're that good. I think someone's going to be able to get Ruben Baines because other people are going to buy into that bullshit, and he's going to be an all-pro.
Let me ask you this. Would you double dip? What if you got Arvell Reese at 2, Ruben Bain starts slipping, and you either get him at 16 or trade up and get him, and then you have Ruben Bain and Arvell Reese?
Yes, but we need a guard, and we need a quarterback.
Yeah, right.
We need
that'd be over.
We need a guard.
Yeah.
If you're gonna not take either one of those guys, then you get the linebacker. Was it Simpson? I mean, not Simpson.
Yeah, we have the 3: David Bailey, Arvell Reese, and Ruben Bain, or Sonny Styles. You could also put
Styles. That's what I was thinking. But would Sonny Styles, if we got Sonny Styles, would he be a direct replacement for DeMario?
Oh, I wouldn't call him a replacement. I'd say work with DeMario Davis.
But what I mean is, he the guy who could take over the mic after Davis retires? And if we drafted him, would we draft him to be a starter alongside of Davis, as well as being being his heir apparent to the Mike position?
Correct. Yeah, so on ESPN, most of his snaps are at Mike. Yeah.
So that this way we have our dominant quarterback on the defense at that position.
Right.
Because you got to think. Because you also have to think 2 years down the line. Also, you want to. That's the whole idea of these first and second rounds. Is you want to get a guy you can plug and play, but also can be that guy that's your second contract guy. And shape the defense. So I'm just wondering what we do at 33 and 44. I wish you could bring that draft thing up and let me make my 4 picks real fast and see what grade I would get.
All right, let's do it. We haven't done that before. That sounds cool to me. All right, let me set up the mock draft machine. We'll do a spur of the moment, easy mock draft where he is in control. All right, let's do it. Let me get the machine ready here. Let me see here. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Oh, yeah. By the way, it's funny that we just said this while it was going on. There is a way now to they literally just changed it this morning. The Trevor Sikkema complaints we were just talking about earlier. Now you can switch it to the other board. So, okay, great. It is on the other board now. So you will have that board. All right, here we go. Let me throw it up on the screen here. Okay.
Turn it sideways so I can see.
Okay.
Blow it up a little bit.
Okay. There we go.
All right.
We're sharing screen. This is about to go up. We're about to have a spur of the moment, easy 2-round New York Jets mock draft, 4 picks. They're all up.
I'm going to do it real fast. I'm going to do it real fast too.
Okay. Okay. So let's start the draft here. Okay. Fernando Mendoza went number 1 overall. Where do you want to go?
I think I'm going to go with Sonny Styles.
All right. Let's do it. Hit it. Select Sonny Styles, 2nd overall. All right, let's jump over to 16th overall. Now, where do you want to go?
I want to get the guard from Penn State.
All right,
Loan.
work for me. With the 16th overall pick in this easy mock draft, the New York Jets select Vega Ioane of Penn State, the interior offensive lineman. All right, we jump to the second round, 33rd overall. Where do you want to go here, Easy?
What's the quarterback room look like?
Okay, let's see who's at quarterback. Ty Simpson's on the board.
I'm taking Ty right there.
Okay, there you go. Hit it. With the 33rd overall pick at Easy's 2-round spur of the moment mock draft, he selects our brand new franchise quarterback, Ty Simpson, out of Alabama. We have one pick left, Easy. 44th overall. The power is yours.
I want to see who's at safety.
Safety. Okay. All right. I like that. All right. Let's go down to safety. All right. Here. There's your safeties available. They're easy.
Now let me see the wideouts, wide receivers.
Sure. All right. Let's get some wideouts, wide receivers, pass catchers, perhaps. All right. Here we go. These are the guys that are available. Okay.
I'm taking Surratt.
Okay. Let's do it.
Surratt.
Okay. Hit it. With the 44th overall pick in this sudden 2-round easy mock draft, he selects Indiana wide receiver Elijah Surratt with the 44th overall pick. It's tabulating. Let's see what grade it gives you here. Easy as it's cooking up here. Grading your draft. Stay in your seat, grading your draft. You received a B-. There you go, an old B-. They didn't like your Elijah Surratt pick, but you know what, Easy? The audience, I'm sure, loves your pick. Look at that booyah mock draft. Good work.
Why the hell do they hate Sonny Styles so much?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. But who cares what they think? You're the boss, Easy. You run this ship.
Yeah, well, my guard pick and my quarterback pick were highly rated, so I'm happy with that.
100%.
The Surratt pick was me just throwing a dart.
That's okay. That's what GMs do sometimes, Easy. That's what GMs do.
I literally threw just a dart on that one.
Yeah. Very nice. Good work. Wow. Okay. Man, Easy, you got to be easy future GM, Mark Sacchetti says in the chat. All right, there you go. Easy getting some love for this mock draft you just pulled off.
Oh, I'm glad. I hope people like that I took the guard, because that was very important to me to make sure that we round out that room.
Yeah.
I think if we get that kid, the room is rock solid. I mean, absolutely rock solid. Now, is he a left guard or a right guard? That is the other question. I know the guy from Oregon was a right guard.
Vega, I believe, is a left guard, if memory serves correctly. So
then that's perfect. We leave Tittman right where he is, because the best part of having an O-line is to have that solid continuity where there's not a guy, where they're not all like jumbling around and playing leapfrog in positions.
Yeah.
So we have our backup left tackle. We have our backup right tackle now.
Yep.
From free agency. So now we have our starting left guard. If we get this guy, we have our starting. The whole offensive line is starters.
Yeah.
And we have a little bit of continuity with Tittman and our starting center. I'm so bad with names, you know me.
Yeah.
They can swap and move. So I think we have enough versatility and continuity on this offensive line now. And Ty Simpson's the coach's kid. Yep. He's going to be good. He had a bad season. Everybody has a bad season, but he's got a lot of starts under his. No, he doesn't have a lot of starts under his.
No, he doesn't. Yeah, like 15.
That was the knock, but
yeah.
But he ain't playing anyway.
Yeah,
he's not playing. I would actually literally redshirt him.
There you go.
I would redshirt him, and and I wouldn't put him on the. I would actually make him the number 3. Put him on the practice squad. Redshirt his ass. I would absolutely redshirt him, because I don't even want the what is it? The inkling that we're going to throw him in.
Right.
If God forbid something happens to Gino, I want our second stringer to go in. I don't want him to be the 6th stringer. I want him to sit and fucking learn.
Yeah.
In days gone past, before the 1983 draft, which changed a lot. 1983 quarterback draft, best quarterback class in the history of the NFL. Before that class, you didn't play starting quarterback unless you were at least 3 seasons deep in the NFL. Look at the best guys that we've had. I mean, theoretically, Rodgers sat.
Yeah.
Steve Young, well, he played in the minor league, USFL. But then when he came to San Francisco, he sat and learned the NFL again.
Patrick Mahomes sat. Yeah.
Mahomes, all the best guys.
Yeah.
The truly best guys sat. Or it took them 3 seasons to really get their legs under them, like Josh Allen. Damn, Josh Allen, if it wasn't for Brian Daboll, Josh Allen would have probably gotten cut.
Yeah, sure.
He was really, that third year saved him. He started showing a little bit in the second year. I will give another guy who, I said it took him 3 years. Someone yesterday said at the end of the second year he started picking it up, so I'll give him credit for that comment. But if he didn't ball out in his third season, they were going to cut him.
Right.
And now he's an MVP player.
Yeah.
So.
Right. Yeah. So he's figured out. So easy, your draft cherry is popped.
There we go.
You killed it, easy.
All right. Actually, I want to see what Johnny Boy would think of the draft. Is he up? Is he in the back room there? Is he in the green room?
What's up, Easy?
Hey, Johnny Boy, why don't you do your quick, just like I did, really fast. Rattle off your 4. See what grade they give you.
All right, hang on tight. Oh no, this is Drew Beatty's. Hang on tight. Let me make sure I don't lose your mock, Easy. So let me get all these mocks together. Okay. All right, let me hold on to Easy's mock here. All right, I'm gonna put this aside. All right.
I almost said Reuben Baines for my first pick, by the way.
Yeah, that would have been nuts. All right, Johnny, you ready to do a 2-round sudden out of nowhere mock draft?
Oh yeah, let's go.
Okay, all right, here we go. Let me set up the calculations on the mock draft machine. All right, wow, this is going to be quite a historic show here. All right, 2-round mock draft.
I think this is going to be a lot of fun, though. This is going to be a lot of fun, though.
A lot of compare and contrast here. All right, so again, they literally, so sorry to Drew Beatty, but they literally just made that change I was talking about to the mock draft machine this morning of it now being flipped the other way. All right, it will be a 2-round mock draft, and Johnny Boy, we will put you on the clock here. All right, here we go. Let me find where the hell I'm pressing my buttons here. All right, here we go. I'm putting the board up. All right, here we go. Share screen. Yes. All right, mock draft machine. Okay. All right.
Easy, just put the pressure on me.
Yeah, I know. I'm doing, and yeah, put the pressure on me to press all the buttons. All right, Johnny Boy.
I gave you a big opening at the first pick, though. So
that's true.
They gave
Second
me
overall. How are we
doing,
Johnny Boy?
So we got Reese and Styles.
What do you mean?
Fernando
Mendoza went. So you have anyone in the draft available? Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go today.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I think I was all about Styles.
Okay.
Today, because it changed, I'm gonna go Reese.
Okay. In this Johnny Boy made-up mock draft that just started happening right now, Arvell Reese, number 2 overall out of Ohio State, to Johnny Boy. All right, 16th overall, Johnny Boy. Where are we going?
All right, let me see who we got.
Okay. Damn, all right. You tell me what positions to go to, and I'll go to them for you if you want a different position. This is just overall, so it has all the positions sort of thrown in here.
I'm probably gonna go ahead and so we got Dylan Parham. I don't want that.
Okay. All right.
So I don't want a guard right now. I think we can get that later.
Okay.
Let me go ahead and let me get a
big mistake.
Let me get a wide receiver.
A wide receiver. All right. So Jordan Tyson's on the board. Omar Cooper Jr. is on the board. Denzel Boston's on the board. Casey Concepcion.
Is Sadiq back?
Kenyon Sadiq went 1 pick before you at tight end. He went 15th overall to the Bucks.
Go ahead and then give and all right. Let me look at edge real quick, like a big body.
Okay. Let me see. Here's the interior defensive line versus
There we
Caleb
go.
Banks, Caden McDonald, Peter Woods, but I can also get you edge rushers if you prefer.
All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and get Tyson. It's a wide receiver.
Oh, the wide receiver. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Here we go. All right. So you and old Drew Beatty are in perfect alignment so far. Hit those chimes, baby. In this made-up mock draft of Johnny Boy out of nowhere, Jordan Tyson, wide receiver at Arizona State, 16th overall. Now we go to the 33rd overall pick. Where we going, Johnny Boy?
All right. Let me see.
Okay.
Do we have? Look at QBs.
QBs. Okay, let's take a gander here. All right, Ty Simpson's on the board.
Okay. Let me look at linebackers.
Okay. All right, here we go. Let's go down to linebacker here. All right. Oh, wait, whoops. Let me clear the overall board. It gave me quarterbacks and linebackers. Very nice. Thank you. Linebackers, okay?
Give me Rodriguez.
Okay, here we go. Hit the chimes, hit the chimes, hit the chimes. 33rd overall pick, made up Johnny Boy draft. Hey, Jacob Rodriguez, linebacker out of Texas Tech. One last pick, 44th overall. All right, where are we going, Johnny Boy?
All right, let me see what do we got right here. Check out the your safeties.
Safeties. All right. All right. There's your safeties.
Okay. Let me see.
All right.
QB.
Sure. Let's take a gander at QB. Ty Simpson is gone, but everyone else is here. Oh, Carson Beck's on the board. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Nussmeier there? What
He
about
is. Eric
Nussmeier?
Nussmeier, Drew Aller, Carson Beck, Cade Klubnik, Carson Beck, and Carson Beck's on the board. Yeah.
Hey, you know what?
All right.
Just so I could piss people off, go ahead and give me a kicker.
Go ahead and said Carson Beck, you said? Is that
Wait,
what you
whoa, Johnny,
No, so give me a kicker. Give me a kicker.
Oh,
Johnny,
kicker.
aren't you trying to get a good grade? Aren't you trying to get a good grade on this?
No, I'm just trying to have the entire chat go ape shit
Special
on a
teamer.
Monday
Okay,
morning.
the top picker is Trey Smack.
Oh man! All right, let me get Zavada. I don't think he'll be there in the next round.
Oh, Michigan kicker Dominic Zavada?
Yeah.
All right. Well, hit the chimes, people. With the 44th overall pick of the second round, Johnny Boy is selecting the 443rd overall ranked player who is often taken at a pick 161 ADP at 44. Dominic Zavada that is the pick.
Oh my God!
Let's see. The PFF draft grade is calculating here. Let's take a gander here. What they gave you for that selection.
This is as bad a pick as Hackenberg.
Yeah, that got an F.
That's like a Hackenberg pick. What are you talking about?
It says D plus. I got a D plus.
Oh my God! You picked.
Yeah, I guess overall. But yeah, that was.
You picked a Hackenberg, is what you did. A second round pick. Come on, you're killing me.
Well, the chat is saying Easy won it, so you won the mock draft off with Johnny Boy. So
hey, you know what? Watch Nevada. The guy that gets you the most points out of every offensive weapon that we have. Just saying.
This is true. This is true. But I think the biggest mistake they made in the offseason, they should have just thrown the bag at Nick Falk and said, here's your retirement pay. Just play for us for 2 more years. Just take it. Run with it.
I don't know, Easy. I like the way with the reports came out and they talked about giving them a 1 year. Dude, we've always had that issue where we'll get a kicker, right? And then we let him go. They'll end up Greg Zerlining us. You know, like it was maybe a year too long type of stuff. So
what about Myers?
A 1 year deal. What they were.
What about Myers?
Jason Myers was here for 1 year. Believe it or not, that was it.
You know, so.
And he was a Pro Bowler, and then we let him go, and now he's like one of the best kickers in the league.
Yeah, he has more. He's made more field goals than any kicker in Seattle history. He broke that record this year.
True story.
Yep, he's a great kicker. And
Hey.
he plays in Seattle. They got win there. I could understand why Nick wanted to go to a dome team for his last year. It'll help his stats, and I guess he just wanted an easier job for more pay. But don't we all want an easier job with more pay?
Sure.
So,
yeah. Well, wow. Boys, thank you for that random 2-round mock draft off. I didn't have that on my bingo card, so
I completely forgot what I was gonna like. It threw me off. I really had a real question to ask you, and
go ahead, go ask the questions, man.
I don't think he remembers whatever it was. I think that's the problem here, Easy.
Because he's got Hackenberg on the brain. You got Hackenberg on the brain now.
That must be it. So, Johnny,
a kicker at 44. That is, unless the guy's like the greatest thing since sliced bread. You don't pick a kicker at 44.
What were you saying, BG?
It's a good question. Hey, Johnny, will you let Easy get a word in for God's sake? So again, just
no, Johnny's good.
Thank you. All right. Well, Easy and Johnny Boy, thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. Thank you. God bless. There you go. Wow. What a. Yes. Well, anywho, let's get back to the phone lines. Mr. Legendary Famous Fulton is next up on the show.
Well, good morning, Paul.
Good morning. Top of the morning to you, sir. How are we?
I got some breaking news for you.
Oh, breaking news. Oh, boy. Let me get it. Let me play the sound. Hit it with us.
All right. So we just got the casting list for Annie.
All
and big news is I have 2 roles I'm going to be playing. I'm going to be playing Jimmy Johnson, NBC Radio, and the dog catcher.
Oh, my goodness. I love Jimmy Johnson. Super Bowl winning head coach. He was on Survivor. Wow. Okay, Jimmy Johnson. And who's the other person on top of Jimmy Johnson?
The dog catcher.
Ah, nice. Well, man, what a dual roles you have there. Jimmy Johnson and the dog catcher. Congratulations, Mr. Famous Fulton. That's pretty sweet.
Thank you. Yep. Wow. I'm just trying to figure out who Jimmy Johnson is. Is he like a radio guy or?
No. He's the Dallas Cowboys head coach. Here, I'll put him up here for you. Here's
sure.
Jimmy Johnson. Yeah, hang on tight. Here he is. Oh no, let's get him in an action shot. All right, here we go. This is 1 second. Let me get a good picture of him for you. All right. Let me see. Okay, this is who you're going to sort of have to channel here. All right. This is who you're going to have to channel. Let's pull this up. Hopefully this is a good image here. Okay, let's see. All right, I believe I got this up. Yeah, this is Jimmy Johnson, Dallas Cowboys head coach, back in the 90s. Okay. Do you think he can pull off that hair?
I could.
Okay, there you go. And yeah, so he sort of has a stern disposition. So arms crossed, and every once in a while he'll go, "How about them Cowboys?" So you just got to work that a little bit. Can you give me a little "How about them Cowboys"?
How about those Cowboys?
Yeah, that's the general gist. So yeah, there you go. Congratulations, and then a dog catcher, catching dogs. So wow, congratulations! What a great,
thank you,
man. That's phenomenal
Appreciate
news.
It.
Yeah.
Yep. So we've got practice on Tuesdays, and I'm not sure when our schedule is going to be, but it's going to be tomorrow night. Hopefully, we get it worked up and then ready to go.
Okay, beautiful. Well, make sure you practice those lines. You get them down pat, Mr. Famous Fulton, and I'm looking forward to hearing more about your adventures.
I will. Thank you.
All right, there he is, Mr. Famous Fulton. Another round of applause. He has received 2 roles in the play Annie. Jimmy Johnson, Dallas Cowboys head coach of Miami Hurricanes head coach as well, and then dog catcher. There you go. Very nice. Wonderful. I'm a big Jimmy Johnson fan. I used to watch him on NFL on Fox. I think he's retired now, but salute to Jimmy Johnson. Unbelievable. Wow, what a show. Random Jet fan mock drafts, Jimmy Johnson, dog catchers. Wow, we've had a little bit of everything on the show so far. Back to the fun lines. Philly Noodles joins us here. Philly.
Whoa, it's a Monday. Philly Noodles
Yeah,
on a
that's for
Monday.
sure. I know. What the hell is going on here? Oh, I see you're as Maniac Madness representation. When are you on the clock? What's going on?
Afternoon time.
Today?
Yep. Yeah, today.
Oh, okay. Who do you got?
Australian Jets fan. So not the guy that everybody's used to.
Oh, a different guy.
Yeah. It's a kid. It's a younger kid, and it sucked for him because when he gets on, it's like either nighttime or it's dumb early in the morning. And
because it's Australia.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he's not the frequent tribal Australian dude. He's the younger kid. But the kid's cool.
So let's boo him.
I mean, you know what I mean? Last year I went very negative and heavy negative connotation on my battle, and people loved Doug on the couch. And I'm like, okay, you like guys on the couch. Cool for you guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I'm on the couch right now. But
hopefully that helps.
Bless you.
Yeah, thank you.
So let me flip the camera because you know what time it is.
Oh yeah, here we go. Full screen.
Yeah, let's
Oh wow. Okay, great. All right. So Monday noodles. I know I was surprised by the Grubhub order here on a Monday for sure. Let's keep the draft day theme going. Okay, I like this. Sunny Styles, no matter what, number 2 overall. I love that. Indy Jets voice is my spirit animal. What? Yeah, we have something here. What? Let me. Where do we got it? Where do we? Here it is. Here we go.
Going off the rails on a Nazi train. There you go.
Yeah. Dennis Quaid, baby.
That's
Salute.
Right.
All right. If Mekhi Lemon, USC wide receiver, is not there at pick 16, trade out, wait for Omar Cooper Jr. or select best player available. Okay, I like that. That's a good game plan. That's a very good game plan. I like that. You get a little defense, a little offense, balance in the first round, and then of course vote for me as Maniac Madness afternoon show. Thank you, and with a exclamation point. So wow, there we go.
And a little bonus since we're on that time.
Ooh. Oh, you already had a mock draft ready. Okay, let me read each of these out. Number 2 overall, Arvell Reese.
Now, this is, I don't get my guy because this is what I think they might do instead.
Yeah, right. 16th overall, USC wide receiver, Mekhi Lemon. 33rd overall, Oregon offensive lineman, Emmanuel Pregnon. Ooh, I've seen this guy available a lot, but I haven't seen many people pull the trigger. D'Angelo Pons, 44th overall, the Indiana corner. Oh, that's got to be a real nice mock draft grade. What's the mock draft grade there?
I got.
Let's scroll down.
A minus.
Oh wow, there you
Top
go.
Top 42%. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. Okay, we've had a mock you like a hurricane. Okay,
mock it.
Wow.
Like it's 1999, whatever you want to call it.
Wow.
Terrific. Now, to me, it's like I understand in our minds. Oh God, we got to get a guard in the first round because they're available and they're great talent.
Yeah,
listen, okay. When the bill comes due, you're telling we were paying top money to a tackle on the left, top money to a tackle on the right, extending Tippmann on the right, and then drafting another guy you got to pay in a few years in the middle, and then another guy. Like everybody,
that's not the gist.
Pump the brakes. Pump the brakes a little bit. Look what happened to Detroit. It's falling apart. You can't pay for all those players.
Sure.
It falls apart, the line. Listen, you get your premium tackles. You either get a premium center or a guard, like in Tippmann, and then you bargain the other 2 positions. Now, I think Simpson, they should have extended because that would have been your bargain, and you would have had that same comment we keep making, the same starting offensive line for an entire season.
Yeah.
Now you don't.
Right.
So we'll see what happens. But
no,
I think that was a great mock. I mean, Lemon fell. That was like, whoa. And then I'll be honest with you, Ty Simpson fell there, but he fell there at 33, and I couldn't do it because you want to know something in my mind.
Were you tempted at all?
I thought about it, but you know what? I think everybody needs to understand if the game plan is he signed Glenn to a 5-year contract. If he can turn around in the season with this team, with Gino, QB, and whoever else they bring in, you are then saying, "Oh, we're going to take a risk it for a biscuit at our top second round pick, and then not use that kid if we go and draft one in the first round next year." That's not how the NFL works. Like we
Right.
have to be very concise here. They're not
Right.
doing that. It's either you take Simpson because that's your future plan, or you just take one out of 3 first-round selections next year. Everybody, 3, not 1, not 2, 3. So you either package 2 to move up to whoever the hell you want, or package all 3. We don't even know. Whatever they want to do, whatever floats their boat at that moment in time. But Ty Simpson at 33, Ty Simpson anywhere in the second round, maybe that second round pick, but I think that's a waste of money in their minds. It's a waste of pick in their mind.
Right, because that's going to be a starter. If you're doing your homework right, all 4 of these guys within the first 44 picks should unequivocally be a starter for you, plug and play. So if you're taking one of those with the quarterback that likely isn't going to play immediately, and who knows if at all for any part of the season, he said he'd sit his ass and put him on the practice squad, for God's sakes, is that you're sacrificing a starter, and the Jets need starters. So, yeah.
Now, it's funny you say that because I really was contemplating Sony Styles. So my thing was the way they free agency, bring it back Michael Walker. And like, they can't, if you sign him now, does that mean they can't kick him to the practice squad? Yeah, but then you got to bring him back and pay extra money for him over. Sure. So I doubt that happens. Maguire, Francisco Maguire, whatever, he's still there. To me, they're about to round out that room with the linebackers. So, but if let's say they did, you then still don't take an edge at 16 in the second round. This is a deep defensive line edge class. You got Malachi Lawrence. You got Jacques. There's a bunch of dudes. Like, you don't have to take Reese. Like, if he's the most explosive athlete and they want to use him, fine. Cool beans. Do it then. Because I mean, they signed what, 2 1-year contracts on the edge?
One was a multi-year. Joseph Asai was a 3-year deal. But Kingsley Enagbari was a 1-year deal. And I'm trying to think of who else edge rusher wise did they add that I'm not thinking of. I think that was it for edge rushers.
And essentially, we have 2 1-year deals. So that's why I could see them doing it, because our boy McDonald's a 1-year deal right now.
Right. Yeah. We'll see if he gets accepted or declined. If he gets declined, he only has 2026 left. If that option gets accepted, it'll be 2 years. It'll be through 2027 if that gets accepted.
That's right. So, I mean, you could see them do the edge because they either can move on from him, trade him. Right. You know what I mean? So it is really telling to see what they're going to do. Obviously, the rest of the draft board falls to them after, to see what they decide to do. But
Jermaine, right? Just real quick on that, because they accepted the 5th-year option of Jermaine. Then they traded him before he played the 5th year. So they could totally do that for Will. They could accept it, and then if they went another year, they could totally decide to do that. So
yeah. So could you punt on Reese? But if you brought in Reese, you then have that flexibility you just spoke with right there, where you're like, okay, Reese was killer. Bye McDonald, and then you can always take another edge at 3rd, 4th, whatever round. Whatever they decide to do. I know we don't have a 3rd round pick, but I don't know. To me, I put Lemon because I think he's the best talent available at 16 for wide receiver position. Yeah. Jordan Tyson, the injuries. I mean, I've been screaming Tyson since the beginning of the year in a sense, but too many injuries. It's too much. Lemon, I don't know, man. This character, I know we can look into things too much by saying there's character issues, but it seems like he might be a character issue guy. And Glenn clearly will eradicate character issues out of you really fast and get rid of you. So I think he could have an issue in the draft that way. And if he falls, and that's why we select him, but should we select him and we take the chance on someone like that? Maybe if it works out well, I don't know. So that's why I said BPA. If you go Omar Cooper or that kid out of Texas A&M, maybe in the 3rd round, that really speedy kid, something like that. But he's tiny, but I don't know, But yeah, man, everybody vote for me if you can. You're in the afternoon.
Let's go.
Coffee club. Love you guys. Let's keep it going.
We'll represent you. We will defend your honor and everything else, buddy. I'm looking forward to that. Thanks, brother.
All right.
There he is. Philly Noodles. Guys, for those who don't know, I don't know how you couldn't. Jake Asman is he's got a massive program. How would you not know? But he's in the middle of Asmaniac Madness. And you guys can vote for our fellow coffee club members that are represented in Asmaniac Madness and in a March Madness style bracket. These callers go against each other, and then one person is crowned the winner. So yes, vote for Philly Noodles today, and I will absolutely be representing and supporting you, Philly Noodles. Everybody, what a fun show! What a unexpected show, but that's what I sort of love. That's its sort of je ne sais quoi that comes with this program. Said I have a draft analyst on with a 2-round mock draft, fans doing 2-round mock drafts. It's beautiful. It's a show by the people. For the people. I want to thank everybody for all the interactions via Super Chats. T-Town Jet gifting a membership. Tank for Ty gifting a membership. Johnny Boy Super Chat. NC Green Super Chat. Troy Sturgis, Super Chats coming in. That was phenomenal. Super fun show, everybody. Again, I will be back for Boy Green Daily, of course, tomorrow morning with more things as the Jets continue to make a few more free agency additions. I fully anticipate before we get to the draft, of course. And then I'll be back live, as a matter of fact, in about 2 hours. We'll be live at 11 o'clock talking about a little bit of everything in the world of sports, but definitely some more NFL activity will be coming up here very shortly. All right, everybody, I want to thank you so much for tuning in and joining us. And we'll see you again soon. If you want to do me a favor on the way out, make sure you guys like that video. We have 500 people watching the show, including 150 of those watching on YouTube. Like the video. That is a free way to contribute to this program. That's how this Jet show gets in front of other Jet fans out there in the audience. And as Bob Lederer gave a plug to on Friday, we are just 18 subscribers away from 8,500 subs. So feel free, folks. I'd really appreciate it if you could hit that subscribe button and tell a friend. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. And again, more big news coming on the horizon. We'll keep you posted. Thanks, everybody. Take care.